Minasan, konnichiwa, onkeki desu ka? Lahat, kumusta na kayo? And hello, everybody! Welcome back to the 4-Digit Mania World Cup! We are now getting set for another match here in the round of 32. And boy, is it going to be a really interesting match between two countries from Asia. It's going to be the Philippines taking on Japan. I am Pork is Great, and I am joined here by Thunder from, I believe, the Gravy Squad clan. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hello, everybody.
Yep, so this is going to be a really interesting match between two countries. Japan, not much can be said about them other than the fact that when I tried to do my own research, one player, I believe it was either Yakik or Axreal, is an alpha player, and another one that is like a 10th Dan, I believe. But regardless, all 6 members of Team Japan are in top 2000. Meanwhile, if you're from the Philippines, especially as someone who has paid attention to the Philippines Mania scene, you notice a lot of interesting names that are on here, like Frosno, Dae, Derp, and Tenchi. Definitely competed in various Mania tournaments like Philippines Nationals Mania, Daladalahang Sabungan, Violet Mania Tournament, Murasaki no Taiketsu, and among others. So this is going to be a really interesting match, to say the least. Both teams have various different skill sets that I believe would would favor one team over another. So I really do feel like strategy might be a huge factor as to how these teams will perform today.
Yeah, no, it's really gonna come down to that, as we have probably quite a well-known team, the Philippines, as you've obviously stated. A lot of their names have been popular in other tournaments, and Japan we kind of have no information on. So it might come down to where they might have to play on their secretive advantages. And especially since we're starting at round of 32, a lot of the core advantages everybody wants right now is accuracy and consistency with ratio. So if we can see Japan maybe pulling out with some of that, Philippines, even though they're well good in their physicality, they might suffer in that accuracy section.
Yeah, as I mentioned, especially for those who know like the Philippine players, They are very well known in the tournament scene. Like I've mentioned, competed in various tournaments. As for like Japan, the thing about like Japan, at least from the months and tournaments that I have staffed in, I rarely have seen like Japanese players like participating. So as far as I want to give like an analysis on these guys, I cannot really give everyone such an idea of how good this team could be. But I mean, when we're talking about seeding, however, you have Philippines as the 12th seed, Japan as the 21st seed. So I mean, kind of gives you the idea that Philippines definitely having the higher hand, mostly because of like they're more used to like the tournament environment with the pressure and all that. So I think Philippines does have the upper hand, but who knows what Japan has in store for all of us today.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite the coin toss, especially when we see Japan with such a dominant Stage 1 score being the SV pick in the qualifiers, and actually having a higher lead in Stage 2, maybe by only 3 positions, but a lead nonetheless in the accuracy pick. And as I stated previously, round of 32 is just so crucial for having that accuracy and ratio. So we'll see if it has anything to do, and it looks like we're getting straight into warm-ups. A 7.7 star rating map in round of 32. Dear God.
Yep. I believe someone has mentioned that this is the Philippines warm up. So yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
far throughout the tournament, I did check. Yeah, it's just a warm up. So it's just to get everything all set up as they are about to play. Just getting used to look reading notes. So aside from that, I can talk about like how the tournament has went so far for 4-digit Mania World Cup. As so far, there have been a lot of matches that have been either been by sweeps or either finish off in like sweeps or by a score of 5-1, 5-2, I believe. No
Yeah,
match yet has went 5-3 or went into tiebreaker. But I was thinking that maybe even though this is now looking at it now with my extended research, even though it might be a wild card guess, I think this is an odd scenario where these two teams could potentially go into tiebreaker.
honestly, it's up to anything, as one of the previous matches that I had the honor of commentating, Indonesia and Vietnam, despite the 5-2 scoring, that match was quite close. Regardless of what people may think of a 5-2 scoring, being like kind of like not a semi-sweep, but definitely an overall victory, a lot of the scores were literally a difference between 1k, 8k, everything below 10k. So honestly, we could see something like that. And even if we don't see that, it's always nice to have an underdog story, seeing Japan having that 21 seeding rating. But regardless, they got that Stage 2 and that Stage 1 score to honestly put them ahead of the curve, and we might actually see something happen.
Yep. And whoever does win this match, they will be moving on to the winners round of 16 against the 5th seed Hong Kong, and whoever loses will move down to the losers bracket against Colombia. Obviously, Hong Kong, definitely an interesting team to watch out for, especially with the roster they have formed. As I thought the music stopped, so I thought to myself, oh, did warm up finish already? Nope, I was wrong mistakenly.
God, Philippines just waiting just for the warm-up to just say, look at us, we're so physically capable.
Yeah, you can definitely see that, especially with Dai, II Derp, two of the top 4-digit players in Mania, as well as in the Philippine scene as well. Definitely had the honor to commentate and like some of their guys' matches. they are really legit, and I really do think it's really interesting to see that the Philippines are kind of like in a lower seed than what I was expecting. But then again, with close tournaments like this one in the past as well, I mean, this is a tournament where even I believe a 32 seed team might provide. Well, okay, I may be exaggerating, but I really do believe even with the seed like that, Philippines can definitely have a really deep run. But it's just going to depend if everything goes right for them, as well as for every other team as well.
Right, because even a loss in right now could honestly just set you in a round of 16 losers bracket, but you can definitely still prosper in the losers bracket as we have two separate brackets where everybody's just going to be competing until double elimination. So it's just opportunity after opportunity. It just depends on what you make of it and if you research your teams correctly.
That is right. As we are getting into um, the internet bitch P-Light remix. I swear I keep hearing this song over and over and over again. Or maybe it's just because I've been okay. I've been commentating on standard tournaments now, and I swear I've seen this song. I heard of this song like multiple times now. It's just I'm just
I don't
already
blame
getting
you.
tired. I'm getting tired of it. It's already so repetitive with like songs that I hear from Mania tournaments goes into like standard tournaments. So I'm just like saying to myself, "Oh, okay. I don't want. I mean, I'm pretty. I'm okay. I know it's like different commentating between like standard and Mania. It's just it's
It's
just
the
that
same song.
it's the same song, but it's styles are different, so I have to like identify with what's the difference between say like a map in standard or what's the map in Taiko or what's the map in Mania. Like okay, LN2 I believe polka it was it was that polka dot stingray song. I literally there was a map that was a tech there was a tech map in a tournament I had to commentate, which I was just like, oh, okay. And what's interesting was that I don't know if you guys know Rectagon, but I completely commentator cursed him and his entire team, and they ended up losing that map, which was their match point. Interestingly enough.
Oh my god, match point? That's cruel. That
Yeah,
is
but I mean,
cruel.
I mean, they were up by like 5-2 regardless, and after they did lost that map, they still ended up like winning that match anyway. So, not all too bad for them.
Although what is good is now we actually have a warm-up that's honestly signifying of a round of 32 difficulty. Despite what you might say about the song, this map is definitely a cult classic and just a really good map to show how skilled these players are at LN, especially being used over and over again, so that consistency definitely plays a part into it. And these accuracies are pretty solid. We had a couple of misses, but I mean that warm-up nervousness definitely goes away as soon as you get into the match, or might even stay lingering.
Yeah. Um. You can. I mean, yeah. This is. I really do believe like this is that warm-up map where not only will it benefit Japan but also for the Philippines as well, as this is going to give them now a proper warm-up to be able to read these notes properly, as look at this map. It's definitely going to help them. It's definitely a good warm-up for the actual tournament maps, as this warm-up will end right there. So yeah, that's just going to be it for the warm-ups. Both teams, or all six players that are in the lobby right here, all did pretty good. And now with that out of the way, we're going into the rolls.
Straight into rolls. Let's get lucky.
Yep.
Honestly, on a map like this, LN, Japan is showing some resilience. Despite what the seed says, these guys are holding tough. CO with the one miss is a little rough and the 450s, but I mean, you can definitely play something out of that if you get those nerves out.
Yeah. Definitely some good performances coming from Japan, especially with me 0117. Yeah, this is going to be, yeah, like I've said, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how well Japan will do. Me 0117 being the team captain of Team Japan. Um, we're still waiting for the roles to happen. I don't know if they already did it or if the referee they forgot to tell them. We'll just see.
We'll just wait. Give them a second.
And oh yeah, also to mention, our referee today is going to be Cecia, and our streamer is Night Narumi, so thank you to Cecia and Night Narumi for help staff for this match.
Gotta love Narumi. Can't go wrong with Narumi.
Uh-oh. Oh,
okay,
so,
maybe you can go wrong, Narumi.
the referee had left the lobby for whatever reason. This is interesting.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, it's going, okay. This is going to be
We're in for a match.
Wait. Frosto did roll. And me 0117 rolled a 66. I don't know if someone in there is officiating the lobby right now, but assuming if it does, then I guess Japan won. I don't know. Like I need some official confirmation just to make sure like I'm not providing false information. So yeah. Okay, so alrighty, so Night Narumi is going to do double duty. Thank you so much, Night Narumi.
Gotta love Narumi. Can't go wrong with Narumi.
Alrighty, so here we go. I don't know if Narumi is going to tell Frostno and me. Oh, no, never mind. So we're going to go with the original role. So Japan will take the win. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with how the band protects work, basically if you win your roles, you will protect first but ban second, and you will have the first pick. And if you're the loser of the roles, you'll protect second, but you'll ban first.
And we see our first protect with Japan protecting SV2.
Oh yeah.
Definitely not out of the ordinary, especially with that. I think it was a rank 6 or rank 8. Rank 6 SV stage 1 score. So that is quite crazy out of a 32 qualifying teams. That is just amazing.
Oh yeah.
So definitely not out of the ordinary.
I forgot that, Japan is pretty well known for like their ability to playing SV as well. That's something I keep forgetting since their MWC team got first place in SV, which was honestly surprising because if I remembered correctly, Brazil literally took first in every other map in the qualifiers pool last year. So that was
Japan's got to take a victory somehow.
Yeah. We're just waiting for Frosno or the Philippines to get their first, to choose their only protect of the map pool. So yeah, I've mentioned that, strategy is going to be crucial, especially for Philippines and Japan. Looking to stick with what they're comfortable with. As for the Philippines, they're going to protect LN3, Time Traveler.
That's a new one. I was expecting one of the Rices, as we saw in the beginning, they're quite physically capable. So maybe some of those tricky patterns, especially those very fast and speed patterns, they won't have much problems choking on. With Japan, might not be as comfortable as Philippines, so they might suffer a little more. But with the LN3, that definitely puts that theory right up on its head.
Yep. But I mean, however, you do. I mean, it does make sense why they wanted to go with that protect for LNG. I mean, if I remember correctly, either and Frost though competed in like, I mean, even though it's kind of like almost unrelated, but they both competed in Oceania LNG, and as we need to get back on the topic, SV1 is going to be banned, so SV2 Japan's Protect is going to be the only SV map available for Japan to pick. But now we're getting into Japan's ban. That's going to be LN2. Oh dang! I mean, that was the map I was talking about with the how I had to commentate with that tech with that standard tech map, and you know it does suck because I think if anything the Philippines should be a bit upset that LN2 is banned because this map was also used in Philippines National Mania last year for I believe either in the group stage or in round of 32 or round of 16. I believe it was the group stage, but I could be 100% mistaken. However, and yeah, you can just see Die definitely upset with that.
But you can definitely see the strategy going into play here. We saw the Protect for LN and we saw the Protect for SV, and what did the other teams do? They ban one of the other LN and SV maps. So
Yeah,
not only can they not capitalize fully on LN or SV, but now we're gonna have to see what they do when they run out of SV maps, when they run out of hybrid maps, when they run out of LN maps. We finally get to see Rice into play and see how that works.
yeah. Rice might look to be a toss-up. So yeah, two teams with very interesting strengths and weaknesses. So really, the Rice and hybrids are potential toss-ups that might either favor one team or the other, or might benefit both teams. And it just depends on which team can benefit from that map, from those maps more. And Japan's wasting no time. They're just going to go with their protect. So they really wanted to have the hot hand starting off in their favor.
I guess getting straight into that straight into the into the motion, I guess, into that. Oh man, I'm flicking out on the word. Oh, whatever. They're trying to get their first point in. They want that first point just to secure some motivation and keep on going forward and try and collect more points. Definitely not a bad strategy, but you definitely want to be keeping your protect for later in case something bad will happen. But anything
I
to secure
mean,
the first point.
I mean, I kind of get why Japan would want to go start with their protect first, just so they can have that assurance I mean, they feel pretty
There you go.
confident going to start with their own protect. I mean, they could definitely use it to for later, of course, but especially since we are in the early stage of this tournament, this still means that Philippines can be competitive with SD as well. Remember that the qualifiers and round of 32 is I believe in most tournaments a decrease in like map pool difficulty. So I do think like if anything, I mean it's a wild card strategy if I'm going to be honest.
I honestly beg to differ because you definitely just want that motivation to keep going forward. You definitely just want that momentum because you always just want to get a point, feel good, continue on to the next map feeling good, and making sure your enemy team is just maybe not feeling as good or feeling less confident. That confidence goes a long way, especially when you got 4 points, 5 points to rack up in the whole game in order to just close it out. So any point matters, really.
Yep. So Japan, Philippines, everybody's getting set. Um, we're just getting into the first map. SV2 Sweet Dreams. I really love the background because of the Kirby. That's how you know.
Oh,
And here we go, Japan. Already
wondering if those are
looking
client.
comfortable. It's just really I derp with the 200s right now. Still holding on to the combo, but we can already see a huge difference right now coming from both teams. Frostno and Tenshi um, going to be in for the Philippines. Definitely doing pretty good right now. I just think
Yeah,
if
Japan is just like, oh my god, Japan's killing it, keeping the highest accuracy at literally almost a .997, 9697 fluctuating. But the fact that their lowest score is beating Philippines' highest score is already insane enough.
I mean, you have to. I've also noticed that Derp's accuracy is also improving as well. Um, I believe it was at 90%, has improved up to an almost 97. Oh, now 97% right now. Really impressive to see here. But however, it's really that third player difference that's really giving Japan a really huge lead right now.
Yeah, and those accuracies are just carrying way too much in order for it to be anything of a difference. At this point, I might be even willing to say that Japan can drop a miss right now, and it not affecting the score as much. Going to show that that number 6 rating on stage 1 is literally nothing to mock about whatsoever.
Yeah, these especially with SV2, being a more like a memory oriented map where you gotta have to time the judgment of like these SV jacks correctly. It's really just like that difference as to why Japan is doing really well right now. Philippines definitely trying their best, especially with Derp, but we're almost near we're less than 15 seconds of the map left to go. It's really just no way. Japan could literally stop playing right now. They'll probably still win, honestly. And that's just going to be it. Japan
Oh
with
my
a
god.
2. Oh my goodness, Japan. All of them with 990s.
Two V1
Um,
double SSs and just like, oh my god, a 1-200 just to close it off for the third player. The third player.
oh man. Nippon ga katsu. Nippon, Team Nihon, with the first point as the Philippines are now up to their to take their first pick of this match and the second map being chosen overall.
But at least you can commend Derp for being able to hold the combo really. Aside from the two misses quite literally in the first 10 notes, holding that combo is honestly really important. Regardless of whatever stage you're in, whatever map you're playing, you always want to keep combo regardless.
Yep. And, looking at the chat, there's a mixture of Nihonjins and a lot of Pinoys. To the Nihonjins, Ogeki desu ka? How are you guys doing? Kumusta na kayo? Lahat. I know Tagalog, some Tagalog and some Nihongo.
I'm commenting in the wrong country. Switch me to Mexico and I'll be straight up there.
Hell, you can ask me you could ask me which language you want me to speak. I can speak it to you. Korean. 여러분 안녕하세요. 내 이름은 I could just also say it in Japanese. 오늘마이와 포쿠 이즈 그레이토 데스.
Definitely impressive, but looks like we're getting into our next map. We got Hybrid 2 coming right up for Philippines.
Oh, Hybrid 2.
So
Okay.
not LN, but definitely, I think this is the more rice-oriented hybrid. So this is definitely going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. this is an interesting pick for the Philippines. Um, but uh, real this I've mentioned that with especially with the rice and hybrids going to be the toss-ups. I really do think this especially when we're getting into the hybrids and rice territory. I really do think this is going to be like a close call to really check if whoever wins those type of maps.
Right, because although it may not be just purely Rice or purely LN, that side of LN focus is still going to give Japan a run for their money. Even because it's kind of the difference between Rice and Hybrid, obviously. That LN could be the difference between maybe an 8k difference and completely switching the map around and having one side have a total advantage.
Yep. So, um, we're just waiting for Ageha to go on to the Aoi team, and the Philippines, Philippines, they're the Aka team. Red in Japanese. Aoi means blue in Japanese. I'm just flexing my partially multilingual talent.
Yeah, just you wait, just you wait.
Hey, you gotta have some fun as well when you're commentating as well. While there is some downtime for these players to get ready. Oh my. Oh, I also missed out on the opportunity to say, Nippon sugoi. I think, especially if you watch anime, you know what sugoi means.
I think we're almost ready. There you go.
Oh, there we go. That took a while, not gonna lie.
Oh well, you gotta shake off the nerves somehow, especially with a couple of misses in the SC pick. You can't be too picky.
Yeah, you're right about that. Here we go with our girl Pop. Now we're getting into OD8, so a bit more stricter in terms of timing. We're seeing Show 73 playing with Mirror, so definitely a different map layout from what you're seeing on the screen right now. It's the map is just flickering right now.
Right, and honestly, I would say the accuracies actually tell a whole different story. You got Frost Snow and MI0117 just having kind
Oh,
of like this
Show
battle.
with the break.
Ooh,
Now we're getting into the LN section with these short LNs and Thrones being in play here. This is going to give the Philippines an opportunity to extend that lead. However, Show is almost near the 400 combo mark. So all what Japan could really do is to hope that there's some act drops from the Philippines or a break that could even the playing field right now.
yeah, as a
And
string of 200s could honestly just shift the lead at any moment, but we're gonna have to
yeah,
see.
because if you look on the Philippine side, it is Tenchi who currently holds the lowest accuracy with a 99.46, which is still impressive, don't get me wrong, but especially when you're comparing Tenchi to everybody else, I mean, there's some level of concern that you might need like Tenchi to really improve on that accuracy to really extend that lead. And now the score is just almost just flickering onto the blue side barely.
But despite that, as we saw in the SV pick, you want the same consistency that Dirt had. You just want to keep holding that combo regardless of what your accuracy is. Any drop could mean a switch instantly. So even if the score is flickering little by little, we're going to see at the end if we can hold that combo and see if Philippines can take this point.
Yeah, and we're just at the end right now. That drop from Show will definitely be the reason why the Philippines will be able to take this point.
Those
Oh
200
man,
counts as well. 1, 2, and 1 from the Japan side, holding such good accuracy. But that miss ultimately becoming their downfall.
Tenshi with the 14 200s, but as you mentioned, and especially something with as far as like Lithuania matches go. As long as you are able to hold combo until as long as you're able to hold the FC until the very end, that's really just all that matters. And Tenchi, though, being a crucial performance was the reason why he was able to outperform Sho by 2,000 points. I think that might be the difference right there, actually.
Although this might show some struggle if we actually go into the other LN maps. If they do decide to bring Tenchi in, we might actually see more 200s and we might actually see a switch to Japan maybe mid-match. We'll see how that goes, but you have Japan picking. We'll see what they decide to choose, as there are no more SV picks left to choose.
Yeah, Philippines obviously going with the strategy of banning SV, but Japan also had the strategy of banning LN. So if I'm Japan, I'm guessing they're gonna go into the Rice territory, or they might try one map from the LN side. I was right. My first option was right. They're going with the Rice map. Rice 2.
Now, Rice 2, despite being one of the stream maps, has a couple of slowdowns and speed ups. Maybe not SV, but definitely on the pattern side. So we're gonna have to see if everybody can transition between fast streams into 1/6, back into 1/4, 1/3, and slowing down to those slower signatures. Because that, honestly, especially if you're focusing so much on ratio, you might miss up the timing.
Yeah. And right now, we are now seeing, Rice 2 being in play here. Definitely what you said. I looked at the map. It's a really interesting map, to say the least. It does have, streams, but there's also some like spaced notes that players are gonna have to play. It's not speed, but it does have speed patterns. I really do think it's a unique map so that you cannot really classify it as like speed.
Just purely speed.
Yeah, just purely speed, but it's just that it's a very, very interesting map, to say the least, and definitely something unique from the map pool for this round as well. So definitely Shirokuma is going to switch out, and I believe Axriel switched out? I could
Actrio
be
also
wrong.
did switch in.
Oh, yeah. So 2 players from Japan going to be switching out. Me, 0117, the team captain, is going to stay in for Japan. Tenchi, Derp, and Frosno is going to stay in for the Philippines, as we are going into Rice 2.
God, you can never go wrong with the Commissar map or a Blitz Lunar song.
Yep. We're getting our first taste of the streams right here. So far, everybody's doing pretty good right now. Almost everyone is at 99.90% accuracy.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, streams are kind of a killer in accuracy. You're so focused on holding the speed rather than holding the ratio. But these players absolutely walk through it like it's nothing, just cakewalking through everything.
Yeah. Japan definitely has the advantage over Philippines right now, although Axriel's in the 99.78% accuracy right now. It's a really interesting battle between Axriel and Tenchi, Derp and Shirokuma, Frosno, and me 0117.
But the ratios are just, everyone's still holding solid. Japan being able to hold just enough of that accuracy to having a small lead. Now, despite what the lead might tell you, and a drop of 200s just could easily switch this up no matter what.
Yeah, that's right. And right now we are just seeing, everybody performing well on those streams as well. Now we're getting into the fast part. I believe some act drops coming happened to me 0117, Axriel, and Tenchi. Shirokuma, Derp, and Frosno is still pretty consistent with their accuracy right now, which is really impressive.
Right. Like, this is pretty good, and now we're getting back straight into it. all the way until the end, we're gonna have quite a couple stream patterns, and it comes down to this: consistency, ratio, everything.
Yeah, Japan is in the lead, but the question is, can all three players be able to finish this map with the FCs? That was a close call there.
That lead is very short, and we're coming down to the
Oh
final
my
seconds of the
goodness.
map. Hardly any notes left, and I think Japan might be able to hold this. Last seconds, last notes.
Here comes the LNs, and oh, it's close. Oh my gosh, by
600
barely
points.
under 600 points. Oh, what? What? Look at
What?
the Philippines. What? All of them with V1 double S's.
And
What is
despite that,
this?
Japan still being able to take the point.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, when you think about like V1 double S's, you like to think like, oh yes, oh yeah, this team would win, but no, it's really just Derp and Tenji having more 300s than Team Japan does. Like their 300 count was significantly lower, which I believe was the huge difference maker.
And
Like
honestly, all of Team Japan just holding that 1-to-10 ratio. That is amazing ratio, especially on a rice stream map.
yeah,
What amazing plays.
man, you just gotta feel it for the Philippines. All of them had V1 double S's. It's just that Japan was just a lot more accurate, and it really just that was really just the difference maker. Even if Japan had no one with V1 double S's, that's the thing. Nippon, sugoi!
Quite excellent plays, and it looks like we're going to LN1, saying, you know what, you guys can have rice, we're gonna switch it up, back to LN. Now, we did see a couple of 200s drop on the Philippines side, quite a bit actually, but we might see a switch in players, or we might just see a switch in playstyle. Maybe the LN maps are a lot more practiced, more refined. We're gonna have to see Japan having a couple of players switch out, and let's see who drops in.
Yep, right now we are seeing Ageha and Sho going to come in for Japan. As for the Philippines, I am going to guess that Dai is going to come in, or it could be someone else from it could be someone else who we haven't seen yet. Maybe like Mania Degen God or Diamond Genius 75 that could potentially come in.
We did see a dominance in high physicality LN, and we see Mania Degen God coming in. We did see him during the warm-ups, if I'm correct, so we could see some sort of play.
Yep, and yep, Mania Degen God is going to come in for the Philippines.
Everyone's slotted in, and we got the MP start. Let's get ready.
Yep.
Now, release is a very tricky subject, especially when you factor in people who kind of suffer with the timing, or maybe suffer with 200 counts, random 200s. This is just going to be pure bait, especially the slow and break sections. Absolute horror for some of these players.
Yeah. And
But we'll
if there's
see.
one thing I've learned, Philippines definitely, especially with Frostno and Derp competing in LN3, they know what to expect when they're playing like these type of maps, and especially comparing from LN3 to 4DM, it's definitely slightly nerfed in terms of like map pool difficulty, but which I do think it actually even helps them, so it can allow them to really train on just at consistency, and it's really showing off. Frosno having a not as best of a start as I was anticipating, but however, he is still maintaining with the 99.80, so it's looking to be like Frosno could potentially build his accuracy back up.
Right, definitely room for improvement as we aren't even a third, or now we are a third of way through the map. We still got 2/3, and that accuracy is at least still holding stable. You want that 100% through everything, but we see Japan holding the accuracy lead on 2 players, and I think I saw a 200 on skill. That's going to be a little rough.
Uh, yep. And you can just see the Philippines. I mean, at throughout a good chunk, Japan was slightly leading at one point, but now it's just the consistency of the Philippines is really starting to kick into high gear right now.
Because unlike Frostno, I get how it actually dropped a little. Maybe not a lot, but just enough to shift the lead at least a couple of thousand into Philippines' way, and it might stay this way if they don't at least lock in and get that accuracy up. But as I said, getting into a slow section, this might be the 200 bait Japan is looking for, or it might be their downfall.
Yeah, especially when you're facing, oh, I'm seeing 200s being
200,
dropped from Derp and Ageha, so really interesting to see how well the
another one.
finish will happen.
Ageha dropping that 200 is definitely deadly. These slow sections are not kind towards anyone, and especially when you go straight into a chorus, you're going from slow speed to
Oh,
just more
Frostno with the
density.
200. You can just see on the screen. Oh my goodness,
Ooh.
it's just flickering right now. Who's going to take this one?
It
Oh
all
my
comes down
goodness.
to the chorus.
Oh,
And a
oh,
drop!
show with the break. Oh my goodness, this is going to give Philippines the opportunity to be able to finish um this map. Assumingly, if the Philippines team can all FC, it's looking to be their point, and that's just going
Right.
to be it. Oh my goodness, how interesting was that? And we can just see a lot of various different performances. And show was just a 50. It was a slider
50.
break.
Not even a miss.
Oh man, that
As I
those
said,
breaks, those breaks are the worst. I mean, they it's not they don't really mind that much if it's just like a miss, but a slider break, oh man, that's just like it's just it
that's
sucks.
harsh.
And but shout out to Mania D Gen God with the Souls V1 double S in the lobby with the high score as well, beating me 0117 as well.
Right. Like I saw him holding 100% accuracy on V2, by the way, for the first maybe 150, 200 combo, and that, especially on LN, is such a difficult feat. That is like insane levels of accuracy. No wonder they brought him in.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Philippines holding an LN3 Protect, and we saw twice now that Japan dropped the hybrid, dropped the LN, just one miss, switched the lead. Meaning we could definitely see Japan being able to bring this back, maybe even on the protectable maps. We could see Japan being able to just underdog this match.
If there's one thing I've learned, Japan is really strong with accuracy. And I think that's something that is catching all of the Philippines off guard as well. They're here to compete with them. They don't like, yes, even though like this is like one of the strongest Philippines 4-digit rosters I've seen. Japan, they're really taking everyone's notice right here as we head into Rice 4.
Ooh, now this is a bit of a gimmick map for me. I've always I've always seen this as a gimmick, no matter what. High 19 charts are just so chaotic to say the least, but this is definitely gonna probably play. Oh man, kind of just up there. I really don't know.
I mean, this map has streams, like Rice 2, but patterns are slightly altered or different comparing from Rice 4 to Rice 2. But Rice 4 also has some trills, especially there's a really important trill before the last KI. So this is going to be interesting to see how well these two teams will do as they will be introduced into the more primary trill patterns here. Shirokuma, Ageha, Axtrio, their team captain, me 0117, will be coming, will be leaving the lobby. And
As well
interesting
as
as well,
Frostno.
Frostno is going to be switched out for Tenchi.
Having both captains switch out. Well, I guess the captain can't play everything now, can he?
I mean, to be fair, there's also the thought of fatigue possibly settling in onto the players as well, especially if they're playing like consecutive maps, which personally for me is really such a, like a such an underrated topic that nobody really talks about. Like, yes, like every rhythm gamers has the stamina, but they also have they also have to be aware like nobody is Superman pretty much. Like if you're going to play consecutive maps, especially with very little rest, you're going to definitely feel the strain, and you want to definitely be able to play um, into the best abilities as you can, while also trying to feel like physically and mentally be be ready to be able to take on maps like, you know, your typical tournament maps as well. So definitely, it's a good thing that both me 0117 and Frostno have switched out. So and this will give an opportunity for more players to play, giving them an opportunity to, you know, also warm up. As you know, we are now into our fifth map in. I think this might be the first match that this could be really close.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt of being able to think that way. I said the same thing, 2-2 Indonesia and Vietnam, but little did I know it was straight to 5-2. So we're gonna have to see if both of these teams can still hold on to what they still have and keep pushing forward. Because literally anything can switch up. And we see Tenchi having a little bit of a rough start, climbing from 98 accuracy all the way back up to 99, giving Japan that lead.
Oh,
I
wait a
really
minute.
hope that
Wait,
was a client
no,
miss.
no,
That's a
it's a
client
client.
miss.
It's a
Oh,
client
thank God.
thing. That would have been catastrophic if that did happen.
Way too early for that.
The Nihonjins definitely had like a slight heart attack seeing the client mistakenly thought, okay, missed, but that did not happen.
Two players holding a 99.6 on Philippines side. Now that's definitely a little bit of a struggle to climb back up, but if they can hold that combo, especially on this rough section that's coming up, we might actually see a switch. It's really going to come down to
Yeah.
whether they can hold on those really rough stream patterns, and especially when they're so connected.
Yeah, I have not seen Oli this big since like, or this early into the map since like SV2, which was Japan's Protect. However, this is going to be interesting. We're seeing like some jacks being implemented to these streams, um, some accuracy drops. I'm just really impressed with how Axreal is holding a 99.94%. Like, holy guacamole! Like, how can you do that? Like,
Ooh,
you're just
pausing on the
insane.
screens. You
Oh
can't do
man.
that, client. Especially
Now
when this is
here we
such a rough
go. We're
section.
going to see the trills right here. One hand trills. Everybody gets it.
Oh man, everybody's holding pretty good accuracy. No one's dropped yet, but we still got a couple of the map left to go. 1/8 sections. No one's struggling as well. Everybody being able to hold on, and Japan keeping that lead. Final section,
Oh man.
connected streams, and it looks like they're able to tank it through. Japan's still having a pretty comfortable lead. Last couple notes.
I mean, oh,
And a miss!
break. Oh, that is just unfortunate.
Confirming
even with
Japan
the
takes
last
this
notes,
too.
even with the last notes, it wouldn't make a difference. Japan being able to win this one, and now they retake the lead at 3-2. And now Japan has been 100% so far with Rice. The question is, I mean, uh, I think if I were the Philippines, I go with the Protect right now. They just, I mean, it's bold enough for the Philippines to try something different, but the thing is that like Japan has been pretty competitive as well throughout the whole match so far. They are literally right at their tails
Right, because
throughout the whole match.
round of 32 is such an early round. You would expect the people who have high rankings in the qualifiers would stay high and probably have an amazing dramatic lead, but no, round of 32 is not physicality whatsoever. Sure, there are some tricky mini jacks, there are some tricky, just normal jacks, but it all comes down to accuracy. And we see Japan, what some may call an underdog, some may just say they have an amazing early game, but maybe not so well of a mid game or even late game. They're pulling their weight regardless, and they're, like you said, right behind them on LN. And we see
Oh,
the
they're going
Protect
with the
coming in.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Philippines did look pretty competitive on some maps. They did look competitive on Rice too. But now I feel like if there's a situation, well, obviously they have to win the next 2 out of 3 maps. It's especially with how these matches have been so far, with how somewhat close it has been, I really do think like this is the match that could go as close as it gets.
Honestly, this could quite literally be that 4-4, maybe a 3-5 even. But it's gonna come down to whether Japan can either come close or even surpass Philippines if they can continue keeping this momentum. Because as far as we've gotten, 5 points already, but every team has taken their own points. There hasn't been a break point or a point stolen at all yet. Nothing like that. Philippines have won their points, Japan's have won their points. So quite literally the momentum could be switched at a moment's notice if Japan can pull all their weight and just steal this.
Yep. We're going into Time Traveler. This has an ODs of 7, so easier. It's not going to be consequential if you hit your notes either slightly more earlier or later. And we're just seeing a client moment as Frostno's screen isn't up, however, so we're just going to take a bit of a timeout just to see if we are able to fix that, however. There we go.
Everything's slowly coming back.
There we go. Now we're starting things off with the lead was slightly flickering until Ageha with the 200. So this is going to be interesting here. We're seeing a lot of like these spaced single rice notes here. Now it's starting to pick up even more right where it left off.
Yeah, and the accuracy drop was a little shaky. I mean, we just saw it again. Ageha struggling just a little, but that accuracy drop was in the first 400 notes, so it was not as calculated as harshly, at least. But still, holding that combo, as I've said, you always want to do that regardless of whatever your accuracy is. Another 200 coming out. This is a little shaky, but definitely room for improvement, as we're only 1/3 of the map through.
Yep. So we are about 1/3 of a map in right now. So far, Philippines looking pretty strong on LN3, their Protect. I think I did see Frosto with a 200, however. Yeah. Even with, like, with how these maps have went, it's really interesting that all 6 of the players that are in so far have very similar, performances against one another. It's really interesting to say the least.
Yeah, much like all countries, you're gonna have a lot of people who perform amazingly and some people who perform, I guess we can call it average. And regardless of what your skill level is, you still are just as important, as all 3 players are calculated evenly through these scores. And the top player in Japan dropping it, that's just goes to show no matter who you are, you're still susceptible to missing, you're still susceptible to making mistakes, and that's going to cost Japan. Regardless of who you are, that's still going to cost as much as it counts.
Yeah, that's going to definitely really cushion the lead for the Philippines right here. This is going to give Philippines an opportunity to be able to almost close it in right here. I mean, there's not much map left to go as the Philippines have approached into the 2.6 million mark, and not much that Japan can do. Even a break right now wouldn't really help. Uh, completely lose. Wouldn't completely switch over the lead, but yeah, it's just the consistency really worked out as each player from the Philippines definitely performed really well.
And
And
honestly, the ratio is just absolutely phenomenal, holding almost equal to Japan's. The top players in Japan just holding equal ratio to the third player in Philippines. That just says something entirely different.
you just have to feel it for show as well. Another 50 for Japan. No, it was not even as it was not even a legitimate break as well. Japan has been pretty unlucky for two maps now because if they never got slider breaks, it could have been possible that Japan could have probably taken those two maps. But however, here we are into the last potentially two maps of this map pool right here. Now, I really don't know. I think if I'm Japan, I'd go with Rice 1 or Hybrid 1. Rice 1 is, your jump stream map. I mean, if Japan really wants to go for tech, they could go with tech, Rice 5 or Rice 3, but Rice 3, like Rice 2, is a very unique map where it's tested out on tech stamina and consistency. So that's really, I don't know if this is something that Japan would want to go. And as I say that, they're gonna go with the map I was strongly suggesting, Rice 1.
Yeah, that's definitely your your textbook jump stream. And the one thing about this map, I wouldn't call it a gimmick, but definitely the two-handed trill. The middle trill is definitely a you really want to keep consistent on it, because if you even slow down, speed up too fast, boom, 300, 300, 300, 300, maybe even a 200, which could honestly just be detrimental. And there are 4 of them, maybe even 5 of them throughout the entire map, so you're just going to want to keep on top of it.
Yeah, this is race 1. This has a lot of jump streams and, various trill patterns. If you think that Rice 4, I believe, was a bit disgusting, Rice 1 definitely takes Rice 4 out, would make Rice 4 look like a cakewalk, honestly. Here we go with Frostno, Tenchi, Mania DJ God on Philippines. X-Rio, Ageha, and Shirokuma going to come in for the Japan. Their team captain Mio, or me, is going to sit out for this one as well.
Now it's kind of interesting, as we saw me 0117 just being able to kill it on Rice and other maps, but we'll have to see if this is Japan's call, as this becomes the difference between having match point or losing a point and having to take Philippines point. So this is going to come down to whether they can hold that pick and make sure they chose correctly.
Yeah. Here we go. I mean, to be fair, if I were the Philippines, I'd probably be concerned for Tenchi. Tenchi has been pretty inconsistent throughout the maps that he's in. I mean, even though he has been performing really well, but in the standard that the lobby is in, Tenchi would need to improve to be able to keep up with Japan, especially this late into this match right now. We have not seen a 7th map, or we have not seen an 8th map being played onto any matches so far until now. So it's guaranteed we're just 2 maps away potentially until we get into a potential tiebreaker if that happens. And that's a client thing.
Yeah, client, okay. Yeah, and the amazing part about having just pure textbook jump stream is that it's consistent. It's not switching up whatsoever. You know what's going to come, and you know you're going to have to hit jumps. You know you're going to have to hit single streams and stuff like that. So people can adjust on the fly. They can tighten up. They can say, "I'm hitting late. I'm hitting early," and they can correct. That's the wonder of textbook jump stream. And we see a lot of these players, as you said, Tenchi might be struggling, actually doing better than Ageha, and even better than his teammate, Mania Degen God. We could see Philippines putting up good effort, but any switch could happen.
Yeah, and now it's just Japan having the upper hand right now with a 2,000 point lead right now. Now the build up into the last TI is here as we get into this Jack section, which I forgot that there was a Jack section because I actually played this map before. I forgot there was a Jack section. I'm so dumb.
Well, we definitely want a slowdown section before getting right back into it, as all of these players are just holding consistently, going into the same patterns again, and again, we get to see those trills, and any mistake could quite literally put it to the other side. Everybody keeping still. Last couple of notes, we got the 1/4 left of the map, and this comes down to whether Japan can hold.
Oh, I saw 200 being dropped from Ageha, however. This is going to be interesting to see how well they finish. We'll go Philippines almost on the verge. We just see a slight flicker on the Philippines side, but it's all going to depend on how well everybody else will finish. Another
More
200.
200s!
Oh, another one! Oh,
But they're still holding the lead. They still got the lead, and coming down to the final 100k, this is going to be quite literally up to the last notes. And if Ageha can hold that ratio, the lead is still pretty good. And Jax, oh come on!
It's just I don't think it's not going to be enough. And oh wait, the LNs.
The last LNs.
It's the LNs. Oh man, everybody's still at their feet. And
Not enough.
Nope, not enough. Regular 300 being dropped by Shirokuma, but however, that's not going to be enough. As you know, you do see wow, 2v1 double S's from each team. Tenchi, Frostno on one side, and Shirokuma and Axrio. And
the
everybody
ratio.
scoring. Yeah, the ratio was the difference, and it was also the biggest difference maker between the first best player for each team and the last player. Um, the last player, Mania Degen God, outscoring Ageha, but it was that top player that scored more points better than Frosto, which was a huge difference maker.
God, and this is going to be rough because we go into hybrid. Now, we've seen Philippines being able to take the hybrid score, and the core thing here is we saw Japan win the roll, and sometimes people decide winning the roll doesn't mean too much, it's just up to luck. But in a tight match like this, we see Japan break point or match point. Philippines is going to have to at least get it to tiebreaker, or Japan is going to have to break that and steal their point in order to win. This literally comes down to the last map. So this could be the difference between a win or a tiebreaker. And Philippines is going to have to bet all their marbles on this map right now.
Yeah. A lot is on the line for the Philippines to be able to force a tiebreaker. Tenchi is going to be switched out. I think Derp's going to come back in for the Philippines. Meanwhile, we do see Me0117 coming back in for Japan. Me has been, throughout all the maps that Me has played, Me has been very, very consistent. I can definitely see why he wanted to switch out because, definitely for him to give himself some rest, as well as giving their players an opportunity to do really well. So now, I really do feel like Philippines even though they are choosing Hybrid 1, and even though this is a toss-up, I feel like they're in Japan's, they're playing into Japan's momentum right now. And really, this team really needs to find a way to stop that momentum to force tiebreaker. And you can just, this, regardless if there is going to be a tiebreaker or not, like, and Thunder, this has been a really, really, really close match with some really, really interesting performances.
Yeah, this is the closest match in all of the matches we've had up to now, being the first match to actually have a 4-3 difference. We have only seen 5-2, 5-1s, and sweeps. So this could quite literally be the first tiebreaker we get to see in the round of 32, and actually in the tournament right now.
Yeah, we're seeing the single LN notes right here. Of the, pretty much everyone around the lobby didn't feel too comfortable playing, as we did see some 300s being dropped. But however, everybody's starting to get settled into the map right now.
And this is the moment where nerves start kicking in, because you are 1 point away from greatness, you're 1 point away from just hanging in there. Quite literally, everyone is hoping this goes their way, and it only goes one person's way, or I should say one team's way. So this is just pure nerves. And if you're going to overcome those nerves, you're going to have to keep consistent.
Yes, and right now we're just seeing the Philippines doing pretty good right now, but however, Japan is, I mean, even though Shio does have a 99.74% accuracy now, I still do think that Japan is still right at the Philippines, uh, at at the Philippines' tails right now. It's really just a matter of how well the map will, what will be the outcome of this map, as we are already into the halfway mark.
And with a couple of 200s from Seo, that's just going to be either make or break. Holding is quite literally the best thing he can do. And if he can tighten up that accuracy and just keep pushing forward, all the greater. But this is a break section, and man, if they can't collect themselves now, they won't be able to collect themselves during the chorus. As we head straight into it, we get to see the Ellen parts, so this is totally playing into Philippines' side.
And yeah, Philippines looking to be able to take to force a tiebreaker, but there's still a good chunk of map left. Anything can still happen. Can Philippines finish off with all full combos? And it's just looking to be it, as the Philippines and Japan. It has been a close match from start, and now after 8 maps, and after I have what I believe is about after about 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 matches in this 9th match of the round of 32, we will finally get into the tiebreaker. Tiebreaker hype.
How fun, considering after 8 matches, or 8 maps I should say, the 9th map turning out to be our tiebreaker. Oh boy, do I love coincidences, and we actually get to take a small break, waiting for both teams to settle in and actually decide who gets to play the tiebreaker. Now this comes down to everything. Everybody's got to make sure that they got their best players and their most well-rounded players, as not only is this basically a glorified hybrid, this is quite literally, I'd say, is some sort of a sneak peek into the next round, I'd say. Because as many tiebreakers, it's definitely a little bit of a step up, or at least a collection of just everything. So that collection just shows how much difficult it is for you to just adapt on the fly, and for being so long and being stamina draining as well. That stamina factor just factors in, and you just got to make sure you are on top.
Oh man. I think, this would be a good time to actually do a tiebreaker ping, because, well, I'm surprised nobody... I don't know. I thought there would be a tiebreaker ping. I'm sorry if I'm going, like, off topic, but...
by all means, it's within. We definitely want
Yeah,
everybody
I
to be
mean,
hyped about this, as this is the
we want
first
to have like
one.
a lot of people coming in as well. This has been a really interesting match. You do have a lot of really interesting performances from both teams. A lot of interesting performances that went wire to wire, and throughout the whole match. Um,
Yeah, and despite
it's
having
just
such a large like gap in qualifier positions, you'd expect Philippines to be able to kind of like sweep this, or just at least take it with a more confident move. But no, Japan's putting in the work, putting in the progress, and just saying, we're going to take this to tiebreaker and we're going to have a good match.
yeah. Um, as mentioned, Jap- as I mentioned, not much can be said about Team Japan, and we're already getting into tiebreaker. Japan looking to really show the world what they are capable of. Even though like most of the players aren't really especially with the from the country of Japan, they haven't been active in the tournament scene. And interestingly enough, we're seeing the first appearance of Yakik into this match.
Quite the backup, I'd say, and definitely probably much needed backup, as having that person who, although it may have not been playing throughout the entire match, they definitely have the stamina to keep going towards the end and actually play that, being, despite being benched.
Yeah, maybe Yakik is Japan's secret weapon as the tiebreaker specialist. That's something that is pretty rare to say the least, however. But regardless, we're getting into the tiebreaker right here. Here we go. Philippines having the slight advantage right now. Shirokuma with almost a 90 under 99%. This is going to give the Philippines the advantage point right here. Japan looking to try to take an upset against the Philippines, but especially since we're seeing accuracy drops from Yakik and Shirokuma, I don't know if they are able to come back, considering Philippines has been mostly consistent. If now that I think about it, I don't remember if I don't even remember if Philippines actually broke once in this match. I could be mistaken, they did, but especially with
I'm not too sure, I'm gonna be real.
especially with like most of the breaks or the major breaks that really happened on Japan's side, Philippines has been really keeping it all together. But however, we do see some accuracy drops coming from Frosno and Mania Degen God. However, Shirokuma is slightly improving on his accuracy, as well as Yakik, but they could only do so much as to try to be able to help me 0117 to be able to do whatever they could to take this tiebreaker point.
Ooh,
It's
and we see
really,
a drop.
oh my gosh, Derp.
We saw this earlier in the match. Now I remember Philippines did drop, and we saw Derp actually dropping a miss on the SV map. Now that might not be too detrimental, but knowing that this is practically a glorified hybrid. This is Philippines territory. Being able to take all the LN picks, being able to take all the hybrid picks, this should be their map. But having a drop so early on, it could probably be detrimental, but the accuracy drops on Japan could tell an entirely different story, giving
We're
Derp enough
seeing
cushion to get back to the 400 combo.
we're seeing more 200s coming from Japan's side. The writing on the wall is definitely there for Japan right now. I just don't know if, I mean, they're going to need to they really need to improve on their accuracy. Your kick will find a drop for Team Nippon. This is very Abunai. Yabai for Japan right now, as the Philippines is now can now smell sweet victory just almost there right now.
However far away it is, you still got map to go, and you still got plenty of notes to still play. Anything could happen in this final section. Another miss from Yakik, definitely spelling disaster for Japan, but Frostno as well, probably one of the people still holding the combo. Now you got one person missing the full combo on Japan, but you got Frosto and Derp missing the full combo on Philippines. The lead is still stagnant.
Another break. That's. I don't think that's just not going to be enough for. Oh,
And 2 breaks on both sides. We're only seeing 1 full combo on each side. These trades could honestly just say Philippines is being able to hold on. 2 misses, trades again.
But no, it's just not going to really make a difference as the Philippines score has just been really skyrocketed towards like the during like the last quarter. It's just really just the consistency and the experience that the Philippines has that's just really been the difference maker as the reason why the Philippines have been able to stay strong and consistent. I mean, Philippines can take a huge deep breath as we are near the end of the map. Mania Degen God with the Seoul FC for the Philippines. Me0117 with the Seoul FC for Japan. But the difference maker is that your winner of this match, it's going to be Team Philippines. Pagbati sa iyo to the Pinoys. Oh man, that was a really close match. And I'm pretty sure I butchered that word in Tagalog as well, but it's okay. Oh, they get the point. They've won this really, really close um tiebreaker map. And man, Japan, you just gotta feel for them. Sumimasen. That
It's
was
rough, but they'll definitely
it's
have
tough.
that in losers bracket.
But to give Japan a lot of credit, they, despite with very probably coming into the tournament with one of the few teams with very little to no tournament experience at all, they've definitely surprised a lot of people, I will say.
Yeah, no, they've been able to put that performance in and being able to just show Philippines that this is not an easy game whatsoever. After all, being the first tiebreaker in the first 9 matches of this tournament just goes to show how much Japan really put in the work. But congrats to Philippines, GG's to everyone as well. We could see them move on in the bracket, and we could see Japan falling into losers bracket, still having that chance. We can definitely see them coming back, showing that accuracy dominance in round of 16. But let's see who Philippines gets to play against next.
Oh no, I already know in the top of my head. They're going to be facing There's round of 16, and Japan will be taking on Colombia in the losers round of 16. So this is so, especially for Philippines, even though they were able to take this close victory, I really do think that they really need to like just reflect on this match in general and really just try to really strategize on what they need to do to make sure they can keep up with Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is the 5th seed team in this tournament, and Philippines, are going to go into their next match as the underdogs. Japan, considering that they had literally pushed Philippines to their limits, we could definitely see Japan having another strong performance against Colombia. But only time will tell, as we will see the round of 16 map pools yet to be revealed. But hopefully, after all the matches are finished, we will be able to see them eventually. But yes, other than that, that's just going to be it. Coming up next, in about 39 minutes from now, you'll have the Netherlands taking on Australia. I will be coming back to commentate with another person, so please keep on the lookout for that match. And then after that, in about 4 hours from now, in a span of from 14 to 19 UTC, you will see 6 matches, which I probably assume 4 or 5 of them will be streamed, as it's going to be, we will start with Thailand versus Chile, and you can see the rest of the countries on the screen right there. But other than that, and Thunder, do you have any final words to say to the audience?
I just want to say that Japan put in the work. I am so proud of Japan, despite being, underseeded, definitely showing that underdog status and you cannot give them shame nor nothing. All you could say is just amazing work. But I think that'll be it for me. You can take away the outro, but bye everyone.
Yep. Okay. So first off, thank you to Night Narumi for streaming. Thank you to Alcesia for refereeing this match. Thank you to Team Nippon for coming out to compete. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. You guys have played very, very well. Domo sugoi. And to the Philippines, congratulations on your victory. Salamat po, mahal kita, and best of luck to you guys against Hong Kong. I will see you guys back here with someone else in 38 minutes from now. So, I'll see you guys later.